Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Touring Kart Challenge League. This evening, we're excited to be bringing you the cutoff race for the round of 12 from iRacing's virtual Talladega Superspeedway from Lincoln, Alabama. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing with the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth once again is Braden Laster. DJ Line working the controls as our producer for tonight's race as we get set to go super speedway racing for a second consecutive week. Braden, a lot of pressure for these drivers tonight as they get ready to tackle Talladega. But an interesting twist has been sort of intrigued its way into the field. A lot of drivers going to need a lot of good runs based on how tonight could play out here from Dega.
That's one thing about this track. They come in with a lot of unknown, a lot of uncertainty, and this is a final round of 12 for the playoffs for these guys. And you got a lot of guys missed a race or two here. Some guys missed almost all the races in the first two races of the round, and they have to win if they want to get in. And then the battle for the bubble is heating up. I mean, you got Colin Grace, you got Christian Barker. These two have been almost, I don't want to say dominant, but they've been exceptional all during the regular season. They have a couple bad races in ninth place for Christian Barker at Dover, 13th at Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago, and next thing you know, he's outside looking in.
Now, of note, as you look at the standings after Watkins Glen just seen there moments ago, top 8 advance, we have 10 drivers registered for tonight. A couple of those drivers have made it clear they don't mind going home. That being said, Dega has a new logo this year, but it's still Dega, Braden.
Now, this track, very familiar on the iRacing surface, as you see right there. 33 degrees of banking, one of the most banked tracks we go to, especially in the TKC Series League. And at 2.66 miles is one of the biggest that we'll go to. Very historic track, very well-known track, opened in 1969. This is a track that I've not only raced at, but actually wrecked at in the real NASCAR series in the world. So pretty cool. We're going here, and I have a lot of experience here. So do a lot of these drivers. I'm sure looking to put a lot of that good experience to use. As we're gonna go 3-4 wide here for most of this race. Hopefully, knocking on wood, fingers crossed.
Now, as mentioned, race control has given drivers up to 5 minutes just to make sure they get in for tonight's festivities, to make sure they can get in. Now, here's the thing. They've already completed qualifying and final practice, of course, which means we're basically capped at the 10. The 10 that are in, we can tell you this: Alex Penn, Seven Hawthorne, Christian Leonard, Bryce Hamrick, Matt Haas, a bunch of your top 5 starters on screen. Then you have Christian Barker, along with Colin Grace, Kevin Aguilar, Brandon Devine, and the last of the drivers currently not in session, it's worth noting, is Jacob Mager. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the standings here, a couple drivers were close to the cut line, like Matteo Giuliano, like Sam Bolin. For some reason, they are not here, and that's a major risk if you want to make a championship run.
But that was a big controversial thing when they first started the playoffs. Is, they had 12 drivers, and they had about 7 or 8, run the full season. So they had guys that only ran about 60-70% of the races and make the playoffs. And Matteo, they were talking about there, was one that was kind of hit or miss, but came out swinging. Had a 4th place run at Dover for the first round and was 4th in playoff standings, and didn't do so hot. Watkins then got 12th. And, I mean, he's right there on the bubble. So him being only 14, or the first car in 14 points above the bubble, I don't think he's going to already have a good chance at making in, especially with some of these guys are here tonight.
Now, the drivers still have a few more moments to get themselves sorted out here, about less than 2 minutes. By the time we come back here, we'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll be starting the pace laps. 57 laps on the board. You're watching TKC from Talladega.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega, where we get ready for a 9-car field. That's a shock when it comes to super speedway racing, but for TKC, points are on the line for those looking to battle for the championship. Once again, tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by TKC, which does have Real World Racing Series, founded back in 2021, sanctioning competitive go-kart series and expanding the go-karting community. It regularly holds rental kart, sprint, and endurance races alongside the Northeast Karting Challenge, competes at various circuits across the provinces and country. That includes across the states, I should say, of Raceway Park, United Karting, Trackhouse Motorplex, indoor and outdoor venues amongst that. For more information, go to touringkartchampionship.com and register to compete. With that being said, we have 9 total cars making the grid. The 48 entry of Mager has pulled out of the race. But the track temperature fairly hot here. Your keys to win where, to put it politely, if you manage to crash in this field, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, they have a couple faster pairs if they need it, only one to be exact. But you come to a track like this, you expect a wreck. With only 9 cars, I don't want to say it, but it's almost like a completely different ball game. A big thing about super speedway racing is having friends are at an advantage. Most of these guys are all friends with each other, so they're all going to work together, all going to be hopefully somewhat clean. And they all know how to work with one another. It's not like they have a bunch of random people here, changing things up and a different group on a different strategy. You're going to have almost everyone here kind of on the same game plan, the same, the same, I guess, game plan, exactly what I just said. I mean, pit strategy is not going to vary. You're just going to be able to go and not wreck, I think, is going to be the key to winning in this one.
There is no fuel restriction for this race tonight. The field's already been told. If you have to pit more than once today, it's because you damaged your own race car. That being said, the last time we're at a super speedway, we've seen the exciting racing when it came to TKC 500. When it came to the season before this, Seven Hawthorne, winner at Daytona and Atlanta this season already. Who's your pick? He's outside front row. 7 is for respect.
Seven's been dominating the super speedways this season in the TKC NASCAR series, so definitely gonna go with 7. It's hard to bet against him.
He's in a very good position, but it could go to anybody. It is Dega, after all, and you never know what can happen. Crazy things can happen no matter the field. But that being said, we're just about set to go with the pace car already off. It's Alex Penn in the Skip Barber Racing School car in control. Green flag is out. We're underway, and 7 Hawthorne jumped the start. He's got a black flag already.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take my pick and throw it out the window. They're going to clear it. Look at them clear it. It's a 3 wide already going turn 1, 7 Hawthorne on the top. That's Bryce Hamrick in the middle and Alex Penn on the bottom. They're 3 wide, about a row and a half deep, and finally going to figure it out, going out at 2.
Start is on the green flag. Keep in mind, that is already being discussed on the radio. Oh, wow, 7 Hawthorne gets a very lucky break here. If you get a black flag with only 9 cars, I don't know what to say. It is Hawthorne to the front with Christian Leonard on the push.
I'm getting a black flag at a race like this. A track like this typically means the defeat of your run in a race. But 7 Hawthorne, you're going to get that cleared early on. It's going to allow him to take the lead. They're running on board with Christian Leonard, driver that should be safety in the playoffs. I'm sorry, that's Bryce Hamrick. I lied. We got 2 yellow cars up front, 2 yellow and red cars. It's a Bucky's car. I love Bucky's. I'm been quite a few trips to the Daytona Bucky's this past weekend, but Carl wasn't too happy. But Bryce Hamrick and Matt Haas, that's Matt Haas in the Bucky's car, looking for his first TKC Series win. Regular season champion wasn't quite able to find victory lane, and he's got about 55 more laps to get there tonight.
And in turn, you think with less cars, we may see more optimism maybe for runs. Already the tandem drafting on display. And there goes the tandem already. It's 3 wide again for the lead.
Matt Haas getting shuffled out there. Gonna fall back, lose the lead, maybe fall outside the top 5. Finally hooked up a Colin Grace in the 27 machine. But 7 Hawthorne and Christian Leonard to the point. They're in that bright green and white subway machine, pushing 7 Hawthorne. So far, they're making it work. I'm not going to lie, Justin. I kind of like this. Like you mentioned, the 2-car tandem drafting, going back a couple of years to like the real-life NASCAR version. I mean, this is kind of fun to watch. This is like a throwback in time.
It's on race, lots of cars in the retrospective of Dega, or better yet, bigger spacing. And in turn, it's worth noting that everybody, of course, to be expected is in the pack, except for one that somehow might lose it, Alex Penn. Remember, he's seen him drop back. He's having a hard time keeping up with the draft despite being at the tail end of it. He's 6-7 car lengths and growing back of this field.
Possibly has some front nose damage, and especially with the Xfinity car, the new damage model, it can act a little finicky. His front end looks great. He started up front here, but it just might have trouble keeping up. I mean, these guys in front of him were only having 9 cars, about 4 or 5 cars in a row. They're able to go full out, I'd imagine. I mean, they're not really lifting, not really saving, not really bubbling up. I don't think he's going to be in trouble here to see him kind of finally catch up to the inside line. But, I mean, these guys are going max out. And they're not really having to check up, halfway down the field. So this is a very unique kind of super speedway race we're watching here. And it's going to point some exciting races. They're 2 wide already for third. Bryce Hamrick, Brandon Devine. They seem Devine really struggling to hold a straight wheel. Kind of coming up into Hamrick a little bit. But it's a very unique race we're going to have here tonight.
Keep in mind, previous winners in this round already, Jake Ennis, Alex Penn. So no stress in theory for Penn. Ennis we already see not here tonight. So that explains part of that reasoning. But in turn, when it comes to super speedway racing, it's been a busy time on the iRacing service because it's back-to-back weeks in official. You also combine the factor of many of the fans and in turn, many of these drivers in theory coming off watching racing at Daytona in real life, or better yet, from the facility itself here. Of course, you're amongst those in Daytona Beach, Florida, although you did not qualify, unfortunately. The first car out you're talking about after group qualifying in ARCA.
Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. First time to send anybody home in the ARCA field in 7-8 years since 2007. So that was definitely a hard pill to swallow. And we had a real good piece in practice. We never really pushed it because we found out early on we had a good piece and didn't want to wreck it. And after provisions, everything fell. We were the first car out, and we actually turned a quicker time in qualifying than some guys that were drafting with one another. And basically, ARCA does group qualifying, and we got 4 minutes to turn a lap, and just didn't go our way. And unfortunately, we were on the outside looking in. Thankfully, I think it worked out for us with our car. Ended up in one piece, unlike a lot of the other ones out there. So looking forward to hopefully putting a deal together for Talladega going back in a couple months.
I did find it intriguing when you mentioned the group qualifying part because NASCAR tried that for about a couple times in the Cup Series on a super speedway, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. went home from that. And the most significant one, those in the second Talladega race. And then we've seen how group qualifying played out when the drafting package came for the next gen, or rather for the Gen 6 with the low horsepower package. There's a sense of unpredictability when you have that.
Very. I mean, SVG, and arguably one of the best cars, as far as natural talent, one of the better drivers in the field, went home at first until, a car withdrew, and that kind of, shuffled things around. That hopefully makes ARCA open their eyes. The 7 Hawthorne throwing a mad block for the lead. But yeah, the group qualifying is kind of a newish format in ARCA. They haven't done it or they've only done it in recent years when nobody's really gone home. So definitely a little shocking, a little eye-opening for a lot of these guys.
Well, just going to say wink, wink when it comes to the withdrawal part. We won't spoil the details because, you work in the motorsports industry. I won't say what. Now, 7 Hawthorne's leading the bottom line. Hamrick should say, is leading the outside grouping. Cars keep shuffling to the back, trying to test out runs here. This is actually almost like a test session in terms of the flavor with the chance to see what works, what doesn't work. And this is rare that you have that in a league race, in an official league race.
Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a very unique race. I'm not really used to having this many cars in any Super Speedway session like this. So it definitely changes the vibe. It changes the way they're going to race. And I mean, one bad move and you're not just like losing the pack and falling in. You're out of the pack for good. And as little as the package is, I mean, that could be the race over. I want to give a shout out to Bryce Hamrick, though, currently running second or leading the outside line at 94 machine. Has a Maconi setup shop on the B pillars. It has that Rod Car logo also on the quarter panels, too. Rod Car is a very super speedway exclusive race. And Hamrick, to my knowledge, has run quite a few of those races. And found a decent amount of success. So in terms of super speedway experience, I'd say he's probably one of your better ones. He's got 5 starts in the TKC series. I don't believe he's in the playoffs. Still looking for that first win. He got second back in Atlanta in his TKC series debut. So he's got a decent, I guess, resume when it comes to the drafting tracks here, and looking to try to get that first win tonight.
Yeah, I was curious in terms of how he's done in that respective season. Towards the bottom and 69th in the point standings. Not very nice when you factor in they're already just past the halfway point of the season.
Nice.
It's not nice when you're 69th out of, I don't know, about 80, 100 drivers.
Nice. I was 69th in ARCA points at one point last year. That was my greatest accomplishment in racing.
So already some of the top runners testing the side drafting to get a feel of it here. Side drafting is a massive factor when it comes to the Cup cars. The next gen especially, and the Gen 6. How does it work with this Xfinity Series car? Because it doesn't seem to be as big of a factor compared to the... You run side by side, you may as well be stopping your momentum straight on your brakes.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of a numbers game mostly. I mean, side drafting going to help you out no matter what car you're in. Obviously, I talk about the Cup car. It seems like it's magnified by quite a bit compared to the Xfinity car. But, I mean, we just saw the run that Bryce Hamrick got. They were using the outside. They had, about the same numbers, but they were able to get together and just really push, back bumpers off each other. Sam Hawthorne not going to let Bryce lead for long, using a nice little slingshot move to go to the outside there. But I don't think side drafting is going to be a huge help here, but just trying to get together with who you can work with best. And I think it's going to be, a big factor in this is finding someone that pushes really good, getting out in front of them, helping they push you the whole way.
Into the wall. Wow. On his own, just damaged his right front fender. When you have this many amount of cars, in theory, you should be making those moves. They warned drivers today about the bumps in the corner like that.
Now, not the greatest move I've ever seen, I'm not going to lie. I don't think you have to pit. It won't be too terminal, but he does have a faster pair if he needs it.
Taking a look at one of the paint schemes. That's a throwback to Kevin Harvick, who made his full-time broadcasting debut for a points paint race. Of course, he's broadcasted for several years, as far back actually to 2002-ish, when he technically paired into a segment with Dale Jr., taking over the Hollywood Hotel at the time. Of course, now part of NASCAR and Fox in real life for the whole season. For their respective portion, Kevin Aguilar with that paint scheme and the same number tonight.
The more you know. Christian Barker has a great message to the drivers behind him, right on his back bumper. A little note, you're going to see him there running about the third car on the outside of the back bumper of the 99 machine. It says push.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. As you're riding a roll right over to Matt Haas, see if he gets a memo. But very straightforward. And it's Matt Haas moving in behind him, hoping he can read. I think he can. He's done all right so far most of the season. But Christian Barker, very straightforward message.
Specifically saying where you need to push and how to center it. Now, keep in mind, for one, you can't push really in the corners in this Grand National Xfinity Series chassis like that for the race lead. Sam Hawthorne gets turned from the lead. That's after a push from Bryce Hamrick on lap 13. No caution. We stay green.
No, just a push in the corner gone wrong. I mean, you saw it, nose crumpled, left rear crumpled. About every single piece on that car was destroyed quarter panel wise. And Bryce Hamrick, though, still continues to lead, but you literally just mentioned that you can't really push in the corners, and that's why.
One of the major things talked about by drivers on the platform these days that we talk about a fair bit now, unlearning what you do in the next-gen car. You can do that in the next-gen, not in the Xfinity car, and Hawthorne needs a caution.
That was a very, very rough start. Got that black flag, got it cleared luckily early on. Led quite a few laps in the early running here. Now, probably going to go a lap down in the long run.
And has to use the faster pair already, and he's going to be off cycle and without draft the rest of the way. We have trouble in turn 3 and 4 now. One of the leaders, Brendan Devine, just drove onto the apron.
Sam Hawthorne also missed his pit stall, so he's really shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah. I'm curious what just happened on 57 here, because apparently there was an issue with Divine where he nearly spun it in turn 3 entry.
It looks like he just got arrow loose going in the corner. And thankfully, that wasn't the rest of the field, because that very easily could have been. 7 Hawthorne might have looked like a hero not being in the field, but that is really going to hurt him as he's now lost the lead pack. Him and 7 might be able to hook up together and get something cooking, but that's not what you want to do. Let me tell you, it gets boring around here when you're by yourself.
Yeah, you talk about how drivers need to test about 20-minute spurts at a time. Be sure to test little tweaks on setups for the Coke Series or RTP or any major respective team. Try doing that in a fixed race setup at a super speedway, where the most data you're going to get is, okay, I reached this top speed. That's about the data you'll get in a fixed setup.
I mean, you can work together and try to learn the better pushing methods, and that's more of a driver thing. That's not really something you can change on the car. But, I mean, the track condition, you can't really change. You know, it's going to be hot, it's going to be cold. Obviously, you want to set up a session, you can change it, but you can't adjust the car to do that. Just look at the craziness going on up front. Christian there thought about sending the world's nastiest block on Colin and Grace as he went to the outside. Thought better, but thankfully, and, I mean, they were slashing, dashing, and going for the lead. We're only lap 16.
I was about to say, there are 7 cars in the lead pack. They're driving like there's 7 to go with 70 cars in the pack. With how they're trying to play the lines here, and better yet, how a lot of these drivers are not afraid of 3 wide, it seems. Just about everybody now going into single file. But for the most part, no one seems to want to stay content here despite the lack of cars. It's almost as if the lack of cars is basically burning the risk you have by shuffling back with how many spots you can lose.
I think that's a great way to put it there, to see that's Bryce Hamrick pushing the back bumper off of their leader, Christian Leonard, in that green machine. But, I mean, I think that's exactly it. I mean, the worst they're going to do is fall back to 7th if, you know, you have a run go wrong. I mean, you might lose the lead draft, but it's not like they're going to get their doors blown off and, you know, something like that. So I don't think the risk factor is there, and there's room. I mean, normally if you have, you know, 15, 20, 25, 30, even 40 cars, they're at least 2 wide a good majority of the time at some point in the pack. So that's when you really start to lose spots, and you lose them very quickly. But, I mean, there's no risk involved. I mean, you can try and make a run if you get the lead. Heck yeah, you're in the lead. If worst case scenario, just fall back to 7th and try it again in a couple laps. As you see some guys back there not doing it right, though. It's Alex Penn and Christian Barker running each other up the track. Track?
Yeah.
Track. We're at track. We're at the race track.
Race truck.
Truck. Car.
Yes. That Haas now leaning to the outside. So, I mean, the numbers are going to make it fairly simple for pit stops in theory. Again, in theory, with the less cars in the pack, going to help with the fuel mileage, obviously, but also going to help with that entry in a little bit's time. We're already just about at the magic number, believe it or not, to make it to the end of fuel. I don't think we're going to see different strategies unless these drivers try and get a caution with the way this is getting.
So you talk about coming down pit road and they're working together that way, the more numbers are faster going to go. I want to point out Christian Leonard, Kevin Aguilar, and 7 Hawthorne are one of I guess some split up groups that we can easily see that they're working together in a Discord and they're able to communicate in a private matter that way. 7 Hawthorne not in that lead pack of cars, so obviously just Christian Leonard and Kevin Aguilar. So having that advantage, I guess if there were 3 or 4 of them in pack, you can come down by yourselves, leave the other 3 guys out there, you know, go Jimmy Jack if they want, and, you know, they're going to be fast enough to come out.
Yeah. I mean, I almost forgot about that saying in terms of getting there, but if you're doing a Jimmy Jack in terms of a check up, go, check up, go, check up, go, check up, go, with this amount, it's going to be very hard to lose the draft. I just said that, and Christian Barker and Alex Penn have almost lost the draft again. As long as you have a car behind, in theory, you can do something. It's the matter of, will the drivers want to do something? And it looks like Barker's the only one who wants to do something.
I mean, like we were talking about a minute ago, Christian Barker on the outside, they just said, you don't really have anything to lose. I mean, if you get the lead, sweet, they're leading this race. Worst case scenario, they're just back in the lead pack and you're running 6 mad block gone wrong. If they're going to be 3 wide per second, it's going to allow Bryce Hamrick to steal the lead and seal the deal.
Again, it's lap 21. They're racing like it's the final lap with some of these blocks here right now. Christian Leonard gets shuffled to the back. Bryce Hamrick back up to the point again. This could get extremely unpredictable for the end of this race, as there goes more shuffling yet again.
Going to leave Kevin Aguilar on the bottom by himself. Christian there to the back bumper, trying to get back out front. Aguilar using the help from there, big bump going to the 3, able to get side by side with their leader, Bryce Hamrick, and he might close the door. That's Matt Haas working with Bryce Hamrick on the outside, and that was Bucky's machine. They're going to be pretty dead nuts, even coming off of 4 and 3 to trial. The outside has the numbers, but they got covered quite a more distance, and the inside able to keep up, though.
Yet it comes back to the thought of, as there's technical issues spooking the entire outside line just all of a sudden. That's from Kevin Aguilar. With the numbers, it almost is to where I'm about to laugh because you just reminded me of a quote that was said during the ARCA race, the ARCA Menard Series race, where I believe it was the driver in 4th at the time.
It was Andy Jakowiak, the other
Yes.
pizza man.
There's another pizza man?
Yes, he's also called the pizza man.
Oh, trouble! The whole main pack just imploded. Alex Penn is the only one to avoid contact, and we're under caution with 2 drivers with blown motors. Make it 3.
And there goes the field. The quote you're about to say was, I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkered flag. And that's exactly what Matt Haas just did through the back bumper of Bryce Hamrick. And I want to ask, what was it like meeting God?
Matt Haas says to himself, I'm taking an EOL on that. It's lap 23. I mean, I've seen an official race where it had 6 cars all wreck for the lead once. This just topped that with 7. Let's take a look.
Matt Haas actually didn't come out too bad.
I mean, those who are already in wrecks just came out clutch there.
We had some guy, Kevin Aguilar, got some mad air in that wreck. We're going to get a replay here in a little bit if we can, but a lot of guys are using their fast pair on, like you said, lap 22, lap 23 of this one. And it is early.
Yeah.
See some of the hard hits up in a wall.
Well, that hood just went. Yeah, that hood just went up and met God, but the back bumper is absolutely gone. Half these cars are demolished. At least 1 meatball flag and 3 blown motors. Let's see this again.
Bumped by Matt Haas. That's Bryce Hamrick. It just kind of turns him down the track. I mean, you talk about you can't bump in the corners. It's exactly what Bryce Hamrick did to 7 Hawthorne. And I mean, Matt Haas is all over that thing, and there's nothing Bryce could have done. Gets turned, collects Colin Grace, Aguilar, and a bunch of others.
Well, bye-bye hood. Yes, that was the hood going to the place where hoods go when cars crash. Everyone else, for the most part in the pits, 7 Hawthorne gets the wave around as the lucky dog. Only Colin Grace, pardon, staying out, but is going to pit next time by. So off and away we go. A lot of drivers holding on to the faster pairs, it looks like. Everyone else getting regathered, and this is going to be close, actually, on fuel the rest of the way.
Colin Grace, one of the drivers that came in just below the playoff bubble. I might be wrong here. Don't quote me on it. Don't bet your livelihood against it. I want to say to get an extra point for leading a lap or something like that. I know they give out bonus points. I'm not exactly sure if that's one of the ways they do it. I want to say it's like the most laps. So Colin Grace trying to pick up points. I think he should be in because some of the drivers in front of him are not here tonight, but try and get every point he can.
We're under caution from Dega. We come back. We'll see how many cars manage to make the main pack. You're watching TKC from Dega.
Racing isn't easy, experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Talladega for So Far, So Wild. Despite 9 starters, the field is having a ball, to say the very least, as we get set for the restart fairly soon. Justin Prince alongside Brayton Lester, DJ Line, your producer, as it's Brandon Devine now up front. Devine, one of those who took 2 tires along with Colin Grace. Keep in mind, Grace came an extra lap around. Everybody has hit this caution flag. Fuel of the utmost importance, because look at the lap counter up at the top. You can get to the end on fuel from here. Now it's up to the drivers. Want to have front clips when they take the checkered flag.
I think they took some inspiration from the ARCA race. Devine, though, your leader. Average finish of 17th for combining Atlanta and Daytona earlier this season. So guaranteed already best Super Speedway finish for him. And the best career finish was 3rd coming out Watkins a couple weeks ago in Coda. So road course racer going to the front here at Talladega. I about said Daytona Super Speedway, but that's not where we are at. But Talladega, Brandon Devine, their leader, I think it's going to be a pretty good showing. They're going to extend the caution one more time, I believe. Not 100% sure why. I think some guys might be getting some hot dogs or something in the pits. That's the only thing I can think of, maybe.
Well, keep in mind, the next round of the postseason features Kansas, Michigan, Martinsville. Championship finale for this season, Homestead Miami Speedway. Drivers were already told in race control during the gridding procedure that they're looking towards different options for the future, including different cars, different track combinations, etc., for the next season. With that being said, Seven Hawthorne, and this season, perfect from the Super Speedways, got a second chance after getting turned from the lead early.
That's exactly what he needed. I mean, a chance to kind of reset, get back up front. Currently in the, I just hit my microphone, in the top 10. Get it? Because we have, get it? 6 though, if anybody wondering. And I mean, we saw how much he was shuffling in that pack. I mean, this is a very unique style Super Speedway race. Very unique style Super Speedway racing. So kind of give Seven Hawthorne a new life, a new chance. That is all laps in the first 13 before he got turned. And now get a chance to go back at it if we don't run the rest of the race under caution.
And you know what? Since the lights are still on top of the iRacing pace car, why don't we try and sneak in a word with Seven Hawthorne? 7, do you have a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
So, what's the atmosphere like in the race with 9 cars on the track?
Well, you'd think it would be less chaotic, but it feels like now, since there's less cars, everyone feel like they have a better shot to win. And yeah, I mean, I already got turned, and I'm not sure what happened ahead of me, but it seemed like a lot of chaos happened. So hopefully we can stay out of the chaos for the rest of the day and win the super speedway and complete the full sweep this season.
Just so you're aware, half the field ended up crashing, and one hood went to the sky. So, on that note, how are things looking on the fuel? We're already hearing you fuel save a bit here.
Yeah, I think if we save hard enough, I think we'll be good to the end on fuel here. So that's definitely going to be a topic for most drivers. You know, some drivers saving more than others. You know, drafting pushing is definitely going to play a big factor. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of people just relax now. I mean, still early in the race, and there's no reason to crash a lot of race cars.
So with that being said, as I think you may have the invert glitch in front of you here, what's your approach for these final 30 laps coming up?
Could you repeat that? The game chat, they were talking. I could not hear you.
Your approach for the final 30 laps here?
Just be safe. I mean, I already had to take a fast repair after we spun, unfortunately. So now we got to really be safe. You know, we can't afford any damage or anything that potentially take us out of this. So
Once you get sorted out here, they are now telling drivers to start where they need to be starting for the starting grid. Let you get sorted out here.
thank you.
7 Hawthorne getting sorted out here. Race control has told drivers to start where you should be starting here. Now here's the thing with 7, I think he's going to realize pretty soon he is starting 8th and he hasn't gone to the outside yet. Although, looks like Aguilar doesn't want to start on the inside in 7th. They'll sort that out eventually.
Do you think we distracted him?
Yeah.
He'll figure it out. I'm sure somebody out him. But I think you brought up a very good point there. It's fast repairs. I mean, you gotta be careful now. I only came in this race with 1. I think half the field has used this. I'm getting the list together real quick to compare exactly who. But I think that's going to change how this race is going to go for a lot of guys.
Keep in mind, Matt Haas, EOL penalty as the cause of that massive crash. About half the field's now used at least 1 fast repair. And in turn, as we get set to go, Brandon Devine is the control car. Alex Penn second. Hamrick, Christian Leonard, Barker, Grace, Aguilar, and Hawthorne technically inverted here. Matt Haas rounding out the 9 cars in the field today. Pace goes off.
Yeah, not the night someone needed for a playoff, and they get a chance to try it one more time.
30 to go at the stripe. We're already approaching the halfway mark in a couple laps time. We're back underway. And the 57 with a good launch. Not the greatest outside though. Alex Penn with a slow launch. The Chevys trying to figure out what to do. Well, Penn's saying, I don't want to be here.
Hamrick, one of those drivers in the third on the inside line, came down and used a fast repair. He's not really hesitating at all, though. It's Alex Penn up by the wall, 3 wide to get it split through the middle of 7 Hawthorne and about to 7 Hawthorne again. And Colin Grace making it work. Grace, another driver, had to use his fast repair. So some of these guys not really too worried about risking it all for the marbles.
Yeah. Hey, if there's only so many marbles, why not take all the marbles and say, it's time to become the Marble King. It doesn't have the same tone as the Pizza Man.
Let's try that one more time when we get a chance.
As they get sorted out here, I do have to ask, what was that discussion like with the Pizza Man? I am curious about this because he knows you exist, right?
Yeah, actually he came up to me in the driver's meeting the first time that we actually talked to each other. So he's a delivery driver in New York that delivers pizza. And so that's his story. So he races open. Andy J's named Andy Jakoak. He races a very well-known open wheel modified guy in the Northeast. And but they call him the Pizza Man. And we both actually made our debut in the 2022 Daytona ARCA race. And we both had our nicknames long before that, but we come from different backgrounds. And he came up to me at the driver's meeting, and he's like, "Hey, Pizza Man." I'm like, "Hey, other Pizza Man." And we kind of talked and joked around a little bit, but we both find the humor in it, ironically. And one of these days we're going to do a challenge or something together. And then Frankie Muniz, he ran in the ARCA series full-time last year. I believe we'll be back maybe, who knows, sometime this year. Currently running the Xfinity series. Was in a movie called The Pizza Man where he starred as the Pizza Man. So last year we had 3 Pizza Men and 3 Pizza Men in ARCA.
Technically, I believe they're just about to race in this car at Daytona. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out with one of those pizza men believe a part of those drivers. But that being said, 28 to go, just past the halfway mark in this one. Brennan Devine doing well so far. Keep in mind, Hawthorne, Aguilar, Grace, and Hamrick are the drivers who have used faster pairs so far. So with drivers running low on those repairs, that leads obviously to the question, does the aggression stay high? Or does the aggression have a calm period and then goes full 7-car fieldish?
I mean, Colin Grace is out here like nowhere in the world. He's got infinite faster pairs on and running on his back bumper cam. Now there's a front bumper. But Matt Haas pushed him. I mean, they went to the front with no hesitation whatsoever. I mean, they're not really worried about it. They're not thinking about it. I mean, final race of playoff book, these guys should probably, maybe, depending on the, I believe they should both guaranteed be in because some guys that show up tonight.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're going for a win. They're going for some bonus points and for a tick next in that one box.
Yeah, now there is one driver I'm curious how this plays out, and I think really would need the win is Aguilar, because out of the drivers who are here tonight, he's the furthest back out of those respective starters. Now, here's the thing. The point structure, quite simply, remember, is based on what we've seen in the Winston Cup Series, or back in the day, the 1973 to about mid-2000s system. 185 points for the win, 10 total bonus points available as the max. Basically 5 for leading a lap, 5 of the most laps. That respective positioning here, in theory, he's in great shape. However, Aguilar came into today about more than 140 behind the cut line. In theory, that math doesn't actually add up if he finishes below about 6th on the racetrack.
And then he's also got to beat, you got Christian Barker, who's 20 below. He's out there tonight. Colin Grace is here. He's 14 below. But then Mateo Juliano, who's the first car in, he's not here. That's going to move those guys up some. Then you got a couple other guys, Sam Bolin, another one not here, who was fairly up. I believe he was 28 or so above the cut line. So like 30 or 40. So should shuffle things around. But Aguilar definitely need to have a great run, get up there, lead laps, lead most laps, and try to find a win. Just not worry about it.
Let's put it this way: Aguilar, Barker, and Penn are the only drivers not to lead laps so far in this race. The surprising thing about Aguilar in that part of it, he needs the 5 points to basically make it much more easier. That's basically 1 or 2 spots in the points, and is a lot less stress. So eventually you'd have to wonder, is the 4 going to say, "Giddy up, let's go. I want to go to the front so I can advance"?
I mean, but I also won't be able to play it safe. Aguilar, one of those drivers that have used their faster pair, and you can't really win it if you don't have a faster pair and a good car. So I think kind of being at the back of this lead pack of 7-8 cars may or may not be a good move. I mean, obviously, if you're behind the wreck and they do wreck, then you got to drive through at some point, like we saw a lot the past couple of days down in the real life Daytona. So I think just being calm, cool, collected, and be able to go for the win might be the move. But you got to be able to get that win is the thing.
Meanwhile, offset 3 now is 3 wide for the race lead. Grace just lost his help. Haas, he tries to get the outside working and try and shuffle him near contact to the wall. And that allows the bottom 4 or 5 to get the best boost already. Devine, very confident as the race leader, it looks like, in this circumstance. They're busy fighting aggressively still for that 4th position with offset bumps. That's not going to be pretty if that doesn't get lined up quickly.
3 wide's not the move.
Oh, no. Oh, and Aguilar.
This is not going good for Aguilar at all.
Aguilar just about turned the 18 to 7 Hawthorne. He got very lucky. Aguilar did that. He didn't hook the 18.
Almost identical what we just saw in the Cup race a couple of minutes ago. I'm doing the math as we speak. It looks like he's going to finish about somewhere in the top 5. And in theory, he should be able to pass Sam Bolin and Mateo Juliano. Sam Bolinlow is going to be tight. I think I saw a bumper fly off. Maybe wrong. I don't know. I was looking in the corner of my eye. So, top 5 and some laps led is going to be the winning key here for, not winning, but the advancing key for Kevin Aguilar. But it's going to be tight.
Around the 22 laps to go, by the way. Hamrick still leading to the bottom. And an interesting point over the radio. We've talked about this a lot, where the middle line's been very strong in the past few weeks on the service. Devine just made a comment saying he really likes how this middle line's working.
I mean, going 3 wide here, I mean, when I say going 3 wide, but finding a group of guys to understand that, I mean, that's what makes Super Speedway racing so unique, is how often it can change. And most guys don't really want to run that middle line. I mean, sometimes they do right on the inside, but some guys are more comfortable up by the wall and not really pushing the issue. So some of them might not feel as comfortable necessarily, I guess, running that middle line. You got to be able to get a good group of guys. So far, right now, everyone's figuring it out. And then they're 2 wide throughout the whole pack. Christian Barker, though, kind of playing it easy too. It's kind of hard for somebody to push his back bumper. There's someone behind him, but kind of playing a smart race, him out to pin. Out to pin, qualified up front. I believe that moves him in to first over Jake Edmonds for the most poles this year. I'll double check that here in a minute. But he's been having a calm, cool, collected race for the most part too.
Yeah, and in this type of a field, if you're not calm, cool, and collected with 9 entries, I don't know what to say. You should be calm as a cucumber. If you're in panic mode with 9 cars, how about you respond? If you aren't calm, cool, and collected in this small of a pack, what's kind of the thought process?
You should be out there. That's what almost every other driver out there would tell you, is get off the track if you can't, hold a straight line, because you're putting everyone else at risk. Is the real life thing is what people think. Gotta be able to hold a straight, pretty wheel. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're taking bumps, and it's hard to do 180, 190, 100, almost 200 miles an hour. It's hard to do. And especially when you got someone that's beats, the back bumper starts about to fall off, as you've seen some guys tonight, and in the corners it can get really unstable. So you gotta be able to keep it calm, keep the wheel straight, and not turn the guy in front of you.
And the funny thing is, it's interesting how some have that issue keeping the car straight. I mean, I'll be honest, on super speedways, I'm holding the wheel so tight you get that white knuckle feel and that white knuckle sensation, because that's at least what works, at least to me. Now, that being said, that's not how everyone likes to drive on a super speedway. There goes Hamrick, and he's into the grass.
Cutting that grass for free, almost identical to the way I got turned here back in 2022 in the ARCA race. But cutting that grass for free, Forrest Gump style, keep it off the wall barely. I don't know, got a replay of that, but that was absolutely incredible. I mean, he was centimeters from just stuffing that left rear quarter panel on the wall, and that would definitely ruin his run.
Or what you seen earlier today on lap 6 of the 500, where the first big one happened, offset bump. Unfortunately for Hamrick, there was not a car there to keep him straight.
To get a black flag for, I'm assuming, going in the pits, of course, not intentionally. See if we can get that cleared, as Seven Hawthorns was earlier. So far, it's been yet to be cleared, but it's going to hurt him quite a bit, though, regardless. He's lost the lead pack 3 and now over 4 seconds from that lead pack. So he's going to need a caution, stack things back up, and try to go back out front and get another chance to go for his first win.
Under 17 laps to go. So with the pack, it's down to 8. It's worth noting that our producer sent a pic about 9 minutes ago, as Alex Penn, I think, is bored. What is Alex Penn doing? Did you just see that?
I can't say I did. I was too busy.
Did he just pull the Raja Karoof during a green flag run at Talladega at a track without a bus stop? Yeah, look, he's doing it again. He's just swerving. Well,
we got 16 laps to go. So I don't know if he's just Yeah, Alex Penn, your pole sitter, just Sunday cruising at 189 miles an hour.
I mean, if he wants to lose the pack and cruise that way, he could, because he's making a good effort in doing that, but he should probably get a move on pretty soon. It's nearly points paying time.
Read that back bumper of Christian Barker in front of him where it says push, get that back bumper and go. Because, I mean, we're nearing 15 laps to go. It's about this point in the race. We're going to look at one another and say, hey, it's go time.
There goes the go time from Penn. He's already got himself locked to the next round. Nothing to lose. He's going 3 wide.
Might not quite get the lead with no help. Tried to make it work and still 3 wide outside Kevin Aguilar and company, but I'll fall back fast. Should shuffle right back in, and if you can get Christian Barker, behind him pushing, they might be able to get something going. But as you're saying, Justin, before Alex Penn decided to do a Cupid shuffle, I believe we had a producer's curse a minute ago.
Yes, where Bryce Hamrick was picked as the winner by DJ Lyon, and like the commentator's curse, the producer's curse remains undefeated. I mean, you make a pick, you get praise, they're in the infield within 10 minutes.
Now Bryce Hamrick is back there jamming jacking all by himself.
I think you said it the wrong way. But Christian Leonard's the leader, coming to 14 laps to go.
Brand Devine, though, trying to make the inside work a little bit. Devine, a lot of guys up here. 7 Hawthorne has been unbeaten on the Super Series, but Devine looking for that first win. Same with Matt Haas, 4th on the outside line. Alex Penn back there having a good time. Barker, I believe, looking for his first win. So a lot of these guys are kind of looking for that golden moment, that magic moment. And unfortunately, as well as we don't have a Wyatt Smith here drifting around the track for us tonight. And very unfortunate.
We're not going to touch upon that. Let's just say he has not been asked not to come back after that. But as we get set for the shuffle up front, Aguilar starting to show some urgency here. Does he get some help here on his shuffle? Looks to stay in the middle line for the time being, but it looks like he's getting really antsy there in that 4 car.
I mean, it's go time for him. I mean, he's got to get a win. He's got to make some magic happen. And he's got to at least finish in the top 5 and at least lead a lap and get some. I could finish 4th, maybe luck his way in. But it's going to be tight. All he gets a win all around and really, I don't want to say hose some of these guys over. But you have guys right there on the border like Christian Barker and Colin Grace. And if Kevin Aguilar can win, just like in the real NASCAR format, when they go to the fall super speedway race, Talladega, they can knock someone right there that's been in most around a couple bad races here and there, and walking them was a terrible race, but someone got to the bottom of the playoff standings. Next thing you know, they're out.
Coming around 12 laps to go, and look who's up front. 7 Hawthorne. He's looking to be able to enjoy what's on his hood for a celebration at this rate. He's trying to get himself 3 for 3 on a super speedway. He's getting a push from fellow Toyota Supra and Christian Leonard. Devine getting some pushes still from Grace.
Devine looking and wanting, craving for that first series win. Got Colin Grace right behind him. Grace has been one of the better pushers in the TKC series when we've gone to super speedways. So these two very good buds, and they're showing it on track. Push them to the front. The lines are pretty even. You got about 3 on the high side, 3 on the bottom. Alex Penn trying to make up his mind. Christian Barker behind him, and Bryce Hamrick is below the apron on the back stretch by himself. So fairly even lines all around, but it's going, I'm sure, to get dicey and slicey a little bit, not too nice here in a little bit.
On around the 10 to go at the stripe. Still the 2x2. Penn is still testing things, it's worth noting. Now they've switched things around with the 99 back there, Christian Barker. So as they shuffle, I'm very intrigued on if Penn's going to do what I think he might be thinking with how Barker is. There is a strat that was mentioned one time where, have you ever heard of the drive crazy so everyone's afraid to block you method? I think Alex Penn is doing that method back there in the backdrop.
I mean, I definitely believe it. If I see this guy coming up on the outside, I'm not going for a block. I don't think he can do it without friends. And I'm not exactly sure if he's in a Discord with someone. I'm gonna have to do some research about that. And actually, he is in a Discord, and you won't believe with who. Christian Barker, the only driver outside the lead pack that's still close enough to suck up if he wants to. So those two definitely able to communicate and work with one another. So this might get interesting. These two decide to kind of final laps try to go 3 wide outside.
Under 10 laps to go, and already Divine's group has fallen apart. Haas the only one on the inside. Leonard still giving a push now to Hawthorne. The lines re-establishing themselves. You still have Penn back there on the apron trying to signal what to do here and sort out what the plan is. Most of the drivers, though, are saying midline, the best line.
Matt Haas leading the bottom of Congress, but that's about all I'm out of the bottom lane party. Penn trying to suck up, get to their back bumper. But the middle line, they talked about Kevin Hawthorne dominating up there with Christian Leonard and Kevin Aguilar. Aguilar doing exactly what he needs to do. Be in that third spot, get as many points as he can, capitalizing guys not being there. You thought you were safe, you thought wrong. He's about to send somebody that didn't think they were going home and out of the playoffs and can maintain this run that he's having. And like I said, we're inside 10 laps to go. It is go or no-go time.
Really, everybody looking to set up that go mode. Bryce Hamrick, the only one out of the main pack currently, still needs a caution. 3x3, or rather 2x3 is the better phrasing when it comes to your front six. Already losing the draft and turn the 99 of Barker. That's not going to help Penn back there. He's the driver currently modulating himself in 7th. And if you lose your buddy to be able to push, Penn might be in trouble if he wants a shot to go 2 for 3 in the round.
And it's been a while, too, for Christian Leonard since he's won. Last win came all the way back in about week 3 or 4 at Auto Club. And since then, he has gotten about 5 second place finishes and 7 podiums altogether and quite a few top 5s on top of that. So Christian Leonard has been a very dominant driver, a lot of good runs, but just hasn't been in the victory lane. I'll give an exact date. Since November 13th last year, so almost 3 months, over 3 months. 4 months, no, November, December, 3 to 4 months. Math wasn't my specialty, but a long amount of time since Christian Leonard's been in victory lane. Everyone else on the bottom, though, Colin Grace, Matt Haas, none of these guys have been to victory lane. And Brandon Devine also joining that group.
It looks like Christian Barker is getting the bridge effect. It's worth noting you've seen a little bit of backdrop from Penn. So Penn is trying to get him back in the draft in his Cornerstone Motorsports machine. Still the main 6. Devine still controlling the inside line. Hawthorne still controlling the outside. Coming to 6 laps to go. And no one's really trying to side draft. Now we start to see a little bit of it. Hawthorne trying to get towards that fender of Devine, can't quite get there.
No one really setting up for a 3-wide pass quite there. Still trying to dominate in the middle. Christian Barker is quite a ways back, along with Alex Penn from the lead pack. They should still be able to catch it if they want to, but giving themselves plenty of safety room for coming into that 5 to go window. Bryce Hamrick nowhere near the picture after that accident earlier. Right now, Brandon Devine, 7 Hawthorne, your leaders in their respective lines. Matt Haas at the back bumper, Devine, trying to work together, try and get up front. They both want to win. They're both hungry for it. They both have a ton of experience this season, and they both don't have a win.
The big question, too, is will everybody be good on the gas? Remember, it was talked about by Hawthorne that they might be close on gas despite the saving under caution. Already hearing that a couple drivers are reporting overheating issues on the radio. Matt Haas saying he can't push the inside line right now. He's about to pop the motor. Penn's taking advantage to join the pack.
Let Penn go up on the outside, put their numbers +1 up there, 5 on the outside. And that's also going to put Penn in kind of prime position. Christian Barker, though, I think has lost the lead pack. I mean, he's way back there.
He's lost the draft. It's all drivers for themselves right here. Wherever your friends are, you find them. Under 5 laps to go down the Alabama game super stretch. Penn.
Lap traffic, too.
Yes, indeed. That's going to be Hamrick coming up in the next few moments. They should reach him by about 4 or 3 laps to go. That might be the one saving grace for a couple drivers to be able to set up a push.
That's not going to give you a whole lot of an advantage, but it can get right behind him and that will give you a little bit of help. Because side by side, even with the leader, might just be that little push that you need as they catch him. Hopefully, they can get him on the back stretch, something you can maximize that draft and really make, being behind him help. But so far, this middle lane has been dominant. Kevin Hawthorne leading it. No one's thought about going 3 wide yet. Aguilar kind of peeking a little bit, but Alex Penlow lane back, trying to step around possibly.
Been doing that all throughout the run. Will that work out, or better yet, will the teamwork already playing out work? Divine gets a bad push. Haas pushes the 57 into the grass. No caution. We stay green as Divine saves it on the inside the infield. It's down to a 6-car battle for the win, coming to 3 to go.
Going to get right to the back bumper. Bryce Hamrick, he's up by the wall. They should clear him with no problem, no draft, though. It's going to really upset the bottom line. Only 3 drivers. Alex Penn lane back. Colin Grace and Matt Haas in the bottom. Not quite bumper to bumper. Not quite formed up like the outside. They're going to lose quite a bit of time here. Maybe get single file if they can. I mean, they are nowhere near there. There are no side-by-side, no side drafting going on. I say hop up if you can, try to get a new run set up. But Bryce Hamrick is going to actually join this lead pack. He's a lap down, but might help out some of his friends.
Might be able to help out Penn the most here. Everyone staying single file. Now here comes Haas inside. He's looking for a charge. Hawthorne doesn't want to let him go. Nearly gets blocked to the moon. Hawthorne sticks into the bottom. Coming to 2 laps to go from Dega.
He's arguably the closest Matt Haas has been on the bottom of 7 Hawthorne. Matt Haas, 3rd place at Bristol, best finish of the season, only podium finish. It's only a handful of top 5s to go with that Matt Haas, so they're a regular season champion, trying to get a win night advance through, I guess, a win in the next round playoffs and start a good, strong streak here. Side by side with 7 Hawthorne for the lead. We got less than 5 miles to go.
Significant damage you see for Hawthorne, though. That's going to make it hard to push the rest of the way. He's linked back up with his teammate, Christian Leonard. Both of them dealing with back bumper damage all throughout these final laps. Hawthorne blocks the inside, back to the lead. Will Haas back off? He nearly bobbled onto the apron as they get ready for the white flag.
Colin Grace hasn't really backed off one bit. Colin Grace and back bumper of Haas, Matt Haas and back bumper of Hawthorne. Hawthorne goes high. Matt Haas to the bottom with the help of Colin Grace. They got only 2.66 miles to figure out who's going to win this thing. Alex Pindle laying back, not quite charging for a run. He's got Bryce Hamrick outside. We got 7 drivers all in this lead pack, still side by side. Now Matt Haas going to fade back a little bit through 1 and 2. 7 Hawthorne with the help to the point.
Final lap around here for TKC for the round of 12. Hawthorne looking to stay undefeated on super speedways. Haas trying to get some help now from Grace. Here comes Penn. 3 wide down the Alabama Gain super stretch. Aguilar trying to pinch him up. A block, a dive, a Touring. Into the wall goes Penn. Now they're starting to spin in the backdrop. Hawthorne tries to block the lanes. Haas has no help on the inside. Leonard, all with the back bumper of the 18. Looks to try and get Hawthorne back to victory lane. 7 Hawthorne outside the drag race, the checkered. It's 7 Hawthorne by 3/1000th of a second to move on to the round of 8 via win.
Bryce Hamrick, the lap car, came out of nowhere, gave the push of his life to Matt Haas, tried to do everything he could to make sure he got that win. But 7 Hawthorne is going to stay picture perfect here at the Super Speedway for the TKC NASCAR Series. 3 for 3, and Matt Haas is probably the closest. I mean, that was the closest he ever come to a win here. I'm sure he is devastated.
And they can't believe it on the radio how close of a finish that got. Matt Haas nearly got that done on his own. There's the crash you were referring to at the back with Grace. That puts him back into 8th position at the stripe.
Kevin Aguilar also involved. He finishes 5th. So not quite as much wiggle room as he thought. Not exactly sure if he's in or out yet. I'll let the series decide that before I declare anything over the broadcast. But definitely not the wiggle room he wanted.
And a Team 1-3, essentially. Hawthorne and Christian Leonard able to link up, work together, and get it done. 7 Hawthorne, The Super Speedway hello, that was an attempt, and that was iRacing rejecting the attempt. Wow, I don't think I've ever. And
You got traction control on.
And now we have, I think they're inside each other's front noses here.
One a mommy race car and a daddy race car.
On that bright note, we'll take a quick break. You're watching Maconi Entertainment as the round of 12 comes to a close.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega for more coverage of TKC. As we look at your post-race results here on Maconi Entertainment, get results unofficial as 7 Hawthorne gets the victory. Again, the iRacing number is .003 to the nearest 10,000 to about 004. Regardless, for Hawthorne, perfect on the super speedways. Matt Haas followed up that finish in second. Leonard Penn Aguilar gets the top 5 he needed. Didn't get the lead lap, it's worth noting, but for Christian Barker, he lost the main pack. Brandon Devine spun out from the main pack. Your DNFs include Colin Grace, 1 lap down. Bryce Hamrick did finish, but was a lap down. And then we had a DNS, actually, of Jacob Maker, who did not elect to start as the 10th and final car in the field. So that being said, start number 13, Christian Leonard, comes home with the top 3 run. We've seen him working a lot to find a way to work with 7 during TKC 500 action. In turn, he's able to get himself another top 5 tonight. Christian, talk us through the final run to the finish, trying to push 7 to the checkered.
Well, it went just about the other 3 where it was right down to the wire, but man, it was just like we drew it up. We knew we were going to work together coming into the night, and we did our best, but it got messed up really early when there was he got turned by the 94, and so then we got the other wreck, and I had to just barely got the car repaired in time to not go lap down, and we somehow found our way back together with about like 15 to go, but after that we knew there wasn't any like pit stops or anything that needed to happen, so it was all just a battle against the motor itself, trying not to blow it up. I hit a 274, 275 numerous times down the backstretch, but it was a good battle. Like I said, just like the other ones. At least we didn't wreck coming across the line this time. The last 2 ones I got right reared coming to the start finish line, so it was nice to actually be able to finish the race going straight. But it was an all around good race. I'm happy to make it to the next round of the playoffs because it was looking a little bit iffy for me going in here. But overall, pretty good race for me.
I was going to say, how did the optics, in your opinion, in terms of the feeling change when you found out we've got 10 cars and 9 starters? There's 12 people in this round coming in. How did the feelings change when you seen, oh, we have less cars than spots in this round?
It certainly took a little bit of pressure off, but my one concern was I came in here just a couple points above Colin Grace, and he was the last guy in. And Kevin is below the line. He came in below the line. He had to win. And if there had been, like, if I got turned on the last lap and Colin had finished ahead of me and Kevin had managed to win, because he was right there. He was up there the whole race. Stayed out of trouble for the most part until the last lap when he got together with the 27. But I was pretty sure as long as I didn't wreck, I was going to make it. But I've wrecked in a lot of races so far this season, so it was by no means a guarantee that I made it.
So with that being said, in terms of that last super speedway on the schedule done here, but there are still several more to be able to deal with, including short track racing, a few mile and a halves. Your approach for the next round to be able to try and be amongst those battling for the championship at Homestead.
I'd honestly really like to win one of them. I got that win in the big one last Monday. But aside from the one win at Auto Club I really just been coming up short in a lot of them, tonight included. So I'd really like to win one of them. I think I can probably advance without doing that, but I'm not going to just kind of try to ease my way through it. I'm going to go for the win.
Anyone you want to thank for the run today?
Once again, I always do this, but I want to shout out the 18 for working with me through the race. Also want to shout out the 57. Didn't get the finish he deserved, but we worked really well together during the race. And also thanks TKC for putting this on. It's been a really fun time here.
Well, once again, congratulations on the run, a top 3. Good run.
Thanks, guys.
Christian Leonard comes away in the 3rd spot today. Matt Haas finished off in the 2nd position, just 3 1,000 shy per the iRacing sim. He is with Brayton.
Matt, that was the closest you've been all year. Trust me, we're rooting for you up in the booth. What little bit more do you need? 3,000 at the line do you need to get that win tonight?
Probably a much better shove by Bryce, much more timed. But that was pretty awesome. Despite having like a 10-car field, we had an excellent race. Definitely caused a lot of big ones personally, but I didn't intend to wreck anyone. But great finish with 7. Christian and teammate Colin was there at the end, and it was pretty. Typical super speedway racing, trying to go to the wire.
Very close indeed, the 2nd closest finish of the year. Bristol coming out number 1. You came in, you won the regular season champion. You led your first laps in a couple of races over a handful. I believe Atlanta was the last time you won back in led laps back in January. And now you're in the round of 8. Kansas, Michigan, Martinsville. How are you feeling about trying to make your odds or trying to change your odds and to make it to the round of 4, the finale at Homestead?
Right now we're looking at a new update for iRacing, so hopefully it'll play into my favor. But I'm really excited for the next few races because we got 1.5 miles, 2.5 miles, and then a short track to end it out. So a lot of variation there, and just hoping we could get a win somewhere in one of those 3 races.
All right. Congratulations on your 2nd place finish tonight. Best finish of the year to you. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Maconi and everybody that provides the stream. We are starting to play in season 2, so if you guys want to join, please, more than welcome. You guys are more than welcome to do so.
All right. Thank you. Matt Haas, 2nd place finisher tonight. So close yet so far. 3,000 was the difference.
He ends up finishing in 2nd spot, but the winner this evening, 7 Hawthorne. We talked with him during one of the caution breaks in 7. It was close. It took 3 cars to make the move in the end on the one machine down low. Talk us through the emotions as things got tied to the stripe.
Yeah, that one definitely gave me a couple of gray hairs. It was a crazy race. I thought Matt had it when the 94 gave him a push, but I just able to hold the momentum, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I came in this race feeling a little more pressure than usual. Really wanted to win this race at Talladega before I can take the Triple Crown. And honestly, ever since Atlanta, I've just been watching and practicing and just planning how I would, what positions to be in and what to do. And I got spun early, so I didn't practice for that. So kind of threw the race upside down, but luckily we got a caution and we was able to get back up with the 19, work with him. Huge thank you to the 19 for staying with me there. I really appreciate that. We work really well together, and just, I can't believe it. This is truly probably the biggest win of the season for me.
And in turn, it seemed to be very tricky to be able to get things sorted, even though we had the car count, yes. It seemed like each driver was having a hard time figuring out, okay, who's my friend? This is my friend. You had the one major friend all race when it came to Christian in the back bumper. What was that discussion throughout the race? Or even forward to the TKC 500 being a part of that too?
Yeah, the discussion really before the race, we always plan of how we're going to get linked up and, when we're really going to go. And, the past super speedways in TKC and the 500 last week, everything went according to plan. But tonight, he kind of flipped all upside down when I got turned because he was up there by himself and I was a lap down. So we got the caution. He had some damage, and we talked about, how we're going to try to control the lines and move up. And yeah, it all worked out when I was able to get clear on the inside. And no, Brandon went to the bottom. I was able to get behind the 19 and we pushed and got clear. And once I was in front of the 19 car, I knew I was in good hands.
So that being said, your thoughts on the next round, as you're amongst those who come in with the win, obviously, in this round, but there is still another round to try and advance to.
Yeah, Kansas, I really love the Kansas. I love that racetrack, and Michigan and Martinsville. So I feel like that's really three good shots that we can go and win. I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't win that race, and there's no reason why we can't make the championship 4. So I hold high expectations. I'm 99% sure we'll make it to the round of 4. I hope we do, and we're not done yet. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting all the way to the end of the season. We're going to try to win every race. And yeah, that's how you do these races. You go in every race with the thought of, I can win this race. And if you keep that mentality, then you'll do really well.
Anyone want to give a shout out to or thank after this one?
First off, Christian Leonard, driver to 19, always helping me in these super speedway races. All of my family that watches, hello everyone, we did it again. All my friends, thank you for watching, and everyone here at Maconi and TKC for putting on these events for us.
And thank you very much for the time. Once again, congratulations, Seven, on the victory. Seven Hawthorne, the king of the super speedways in TKC. He ends up going 3 for 3 on them this season. So the next race, keep in mind, will be in the round of 8. Kansas Speedway, February 26, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, the start time. Catch that here on Maconi Entertainment. Braden, your thoughts on tonight, and in turn, the lead in to Kansas. Still waiting on the official numbers on which drivers will be in that round of 8, but Kansas should be an interesting one.
That Kansas is one of my favorite tracks and platforms. I'm sure a lot of drivers have a similar opinion, but beginning in the round of 8, I just want to point out that Seven Hawthorne was picked to win tonight, and he did win. I think he honestly can go all the way and steal a championship on this one. Been very dominant, been very quick at most tracks we go to. I'm sure he'll be just as quick next week for the round of 8.
So with that being said, we'll see how the drivers fare out when they go 1.5 mile racing once more from Kansas City. On that note, it's time to say goodbye. Like, thank you for tuning in once more for tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment for TKC Racing Action. On that note, I'd like to also say once more, thank our presenters, including TKC and of course Maconi Entertainment, part of this broadcast, and in turn, helping bring this action to you. As well, calling the action tonight myself, Justin Prince, alongside Braden Laster. DJ Lyon was our producer throughout this evening. Thanks once more to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. Hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff once more for bringing this racing to you and all the hard work put in these closing races for round of 8 in TKC. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.